Hi, and welcome to Spotlight on Port Huron. I'm Catherine Bowe, and with us today we have Casey Coughlin, a senior at Port Huron Northern High School and program director of WORW. Today we'll be talking about WORW, our local high school radio station. Okay, Casey, how did the station first get started?
Well, way back in 1970, Robert Trapp, who was the speech teacher there at that time, he was currently involved with a lot of radio, and he thought it would be a wonderful idea to have a radio station put in Port Huron Northern to be run by students. So a lot of people got together and planned and worked this out, and in November of 1973 they got their FCC license and started broadcasting from that point on. So we've been broadcasting for about 20 years now. So.
Wow. Who's in charge now?
Right now our current advisor is Ms. Susan Doherty, and she's been in charge since September of 1984. And she's our general manager, the one who advises us in everything that we do.
Well, how many hours a day does it air?
Well, WRW broadcasts Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. when school is in session. So during like Thanksgiving break for students and Christmas break, we won't be over air because there won't be any students there to run it. So.
And what type of music do you play?
Well, currently we're trying to widen the variety of music that we've been playing. We normally get a lot of music from record companies that is alternative music, but we've been trying to widen the variety recently. So right now, Mondays and Fridays is alternative day. Tuesdays and Thursdays we play top 40, and Wednesdays we play rock, which varies from classic rock all the way to heavy metal. So there's a great variety during the week that you can listen to.
Who decides what to play and what comes in and out of the station?
Well, first and foremost, Ms. Doherty, our general manager, she regulates what can be screened and what cannot be screened. And if she finds that it's all right, she gives it to the music department, who this year is headed by Beth Anderson. She's the music director. And she has a lot of people on her staff that she assigns CDs and records to be screened to make sure they are suitable to go over air and are appropriate for our listeners.
All right, and what is your target audience?
Well, our target audience is basically the rock and roll listener. We try to target everybody with our new format this year, from the alternative listeners to the top 40 listeners to the rock and roll. So we try to target just about everybody.
All right, and how is the station funded? Underwriters? Anything?
Yeah, we do have underwriters at the beginning of each school year. Our fundraising department, which is this year headed by Maggie Ruffing, they get in contact with various businesses in town, and these businesses sign an agreement with us, and they pay us $60, and they sign an agreement with us, and we recognize them at the top of every hour.
And what are some of the requirements to get in the class to be a DJ?
Well, first of all, when you're in 10th or 11th grade, you need to take one semester of speech and then one semester of broadcasting. And if you want to be a DJ, then you would then apply to WRW to be on staff, and you apply to a certain position on staff. So Ms. Doherty chooses from those applications who will be on staff that next year.
Basically, how many students are in a class?
Right now we've got about 3 to 5 students during each radio hour, during each class hour, and this year we have 25 students, and I believe that's the maximum that we each year could have is 25, so we've got a full group.
Now, does each person have a specific job other than DJing?
Right, yes, everybody is assigned a specific job. We have a news department, which is run by Mike Carlton this year. We're trying to put out some good news shows, and a sports department run by Brett Langolf. He's got a lot of people under him who have just recently put out their first sports show, and it was quite a success, I believe. And we have a public service department run by John Eastman, and like I said, a promotions and fundraising department run by Maggie Ruffing, and they all have everybody that is under them have certain duties that they are supposed to do. Also, each student is required to produce 3 PSAs, public service announcements, and they have to produce 3 PSAs or 3 promos each marking period, and that goes towards part of their grade. And each semester, each student has to produce a special music, sports, or news show, and that is part of their final grade also.
What are some disadvantages and advantages of being in the station as a DJ and having all these special jobs to do?
Well, like I said before, some people find that disadvantages are that some people think that the only thing they have to do to be a DJ is just to go in and spin some records and play some CDs and just to talk a little on the radio. But actually, it's a lot more than that. You know, a lot of hard work is put into each special show that each person puts out, and a lot of hard work is put into the public service area to produce public service announcements that are appropriate to the community and stuff like that. So some people might find that as a disadvantage, but it does go towards your grade. So, but the most important advantage I've come to believe would be the friendships that have formed between all the people on staff. Really, we're all really good friends, I have to say, and just the friendships that we have formed will last a long time, and that's definitely been my favorite advantage.
Would you say being the program director is challenging for you?
Well, the most challenging thing I've come across is having to grade my peers. Having to grade my peers is difficult for me sometimes because I just found it difficult to have to critique a couple of my best friends or, you know, telling them what they're doing wrong and stuff like that. And so that was something that I need to learn to overcome, so that's probably the most challenging, is grading them.
Besides grading your peers, what are some of your other responsibilities as program director?
Well, as program director, I'm responsible to make sure we're in compliance with all the Federal Communications Commission's laws. I need to assist Miss Doherty whenever she needs help. I train students in the production room as well as the studio. I also I also need to regulate what type of news and sports shows are going in and out of the studio. And basically just keep a run on everything.
Now, have you ever had any mishaps or funny things happen to you while you're on air doing the PA announcements?
Oh yeah, one of my responsibilities also is doing the PA announcements at Northern, third hour, at the end of third hour every day. And I tell you, there's not one day that goes by, Catherine, that I have messed up at least one word or one person's name. I tell you, it's quite interesting. But the funniest thing that I found that happened over air, it didn't happen to me, but last Christmas, every Christmas season we play some Christmas music, you know, in the spirit of the season. And one song was playing called Holly Jolly Christmas. And a couple of our staff members decided to turn the mic on and start singing along with the song. And I just remember hearing about this and thought it was the funniest thing because I could just picture these people in this great Christmas spirit singing along. But unfortunately, they did get reprimanded for that because they weren't supposed to do that. But that still tickles me a little bit.
Now, Air Band is one of the highest fundraisers for the WRW station.
Right.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Right. Air Band is a dance that WORW puts on each year at Port Huron Northern, and it's our biggest fundraiser each year. What it consists of is it's a dance, but also about 10 groups of people all get an act together, and they go up on stage and they lip sync to their favorite song and dance around and, you know, do an act to a certain song. And so, as well as being a regular dance, dancing around and having fun like a regular dance, you get to see your peers up there on stage having a good time and lip syncing, and it's really a lot of fun.
Now, how would you get into Air Band? Would you have to audition?
Yeah, actually, Air Band this year, I believe, is April 24th. So students who, you know, want to participate in that go to Northern, they need to, I think the maximum is 10 groups, and they do need to audition to make sure that, or they do need to show what they're going to be performing to make sure that it is suitable to be performed. So.
Do you have any future plans for after school in communication or broadcasting?
Well, right now, as far as I'm concerned right now, I'm going to go to St. Clair County Community College for 2 years, I believe, and then I'd like to go to either CMU or MSU and pursue a career in secondary education. I would like to major in secondary education, but minor in communications or journalism. So I just found that this experience for me has been it's been my favorite high school experience, definitely. And I've learned so much, and I just love to teach it to other people when I get older. So.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us. And
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this.
Look, if my mother doesn't care about my homework, why should I care?
Show me a parent who really cares, and I'll show you a kid who can learn.
My hero? Isaiah Thomas. Kevin Costner. Mr. Worw.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes.
My hero? Mrs. Wooten. If I don't get through to that child, who knows, maybe no one else will.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. Find out how by calling 1-800-45-TEACH. Be a teacher. Be a hero.
Hello and welcome to Spotlight on Port Huron. I'm your host, John Eastman, and here with me today is Mike Gino, an immediate past president of the Port Huron Host Lions Club and member of the Blue Water Area League for the Blind. Along with them is Harry Bloomquist, a former past president of the Lions Club, and Michelle Biernault, a member of the Lions Club. Can you tell me what is the Lions Club?
The Lions Club is a service organization that is been in existence for a long time, and I think Mike is going to discuss that.
Actually, Harry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Harry.
Yep.
Well, the Lions Club was started in 1917 by a man by the name of Melvin Jones in Chicago, Illinois, and it was a group of fellows that met for lunch every day, and all they were doing was kibitzing and causing problems and so forth and so on. So they decided that we might just as well do something good for the community as to be wasting our time. And so that was the start of the Lions Club, and the things that followed expanded. And today we have what is known as the Port Huron Lions Club, and it's in 1,500,000 clubs in the United States and the free world. We have 180 countries in the free world that have Lions Clubs, and our Michigan and Port Huron area have about 400,000 clubs in the United States. So it has expanded and has been doing a lot of good for a lot of people, and we thank all the people that patronize the Lions Clubs and their functions. And this gives you a brief outlay what the Lions Club does and what they're standing for.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about Campaign Sight First?
Yes, John. Campaign Sight First is an international effort that the Lions have taken up to prevent blindness. When Helen Keller approached the Lions back in the 1920s, she asked them to become the Knights of the Blind. So in many cases, folks associate Lions service with helping the blind. Since that time, we have provided persons in the local community as well as throughout the world assistance with eyeglass examinations, eyeglasses, white canes, that sort of thing. Well, now Lions have taken up the process of preventing blindness. About 70% of all blindness throughout the world usually is caused by disease or poor hygiene. And Campaign Sight First is a special fundraising project that each club is developing to contribute to this international effort so that those folks, especially in your third world countries, can have the better conditions to prevent that kind of blindness.
Can you describe some of the programs that the Lions support in Michigan?
Yes, we have what we call state projects, which means that all the clubs in the state of Michigan provide support to. There are too many to go into deeply now, but I'll cover a couple quickly. We have our Michigan Eye Bank, which is a program which allows the donation of eyes as organs, and those eyes then are transplanted, parts of them, not the whole eye, to persons who are in need, for instance, the cornea. This has resulted in many persons who might normally be blind having sight. We also support the Leader Dog School, which is in Rochester, Michigan, which at this present time usually costs about a little over $8,000 to train a dog to guide blind persons through their environment. And this is provided free of charge to blind persons who apply and qualify to the Leader Dog School. These are just a couple. We also have a home in Grand Rapids called Welcome Home for the Blind for those persons who are not in a situation where they can provide a home for themselves. We have many other state projects as well.
All right, what is the stewardship report and how does it represent what the Port Huron Lions Club has been doing?
Well, it's important to note that 100% of all monies that Lions raise or take in by donation from the public goes to a project. We do not spend any of our donation money on our own operating costs. That's raised amongst us as members. The stewardship report is a report as to how we have used our time and the public support in serving our local community. And each year our club reviews its stewardship report. For example, in our stewardship report in the past year or two, we have done things such as support a junior hockey league team's athletic involvement in the community. We've purchased a freezer for the soup kitchen in a local community. We've purchased equipment for a workstation at the library so that the blind may turn printed material into braille, into audio output. There are probably in our stewardship report 20 to 25 major listings each year.
Who can become a member of the Lions Club?
Well, today it's open to both men and women, which is something that's new because it's been a men's service club for quite a few years. And I think that there's many women in the community who could benefit by being a member of the Lions Club along with the men, because there's a lot of rewarding work to be done, and anyone that has a desire to serve and to volunteer is welcome to be a member of the Lions Club.
Is there a certain age for membership to become a member?
It's 18 usually. We have a program for folks that are under 18 in terms of, you know, how you have Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, we have a Leo Club that will enable young persons to become involved with youth, sort of youth activities for the Lions.
How can people support the Lions Club?
Well, they can support us by contributing to our White Cane program that happens in the spring around April. You'll see us on the corners with a cane and a can that you can put dollars in or coins, and we will give you a White Cane tag, and that's very supportive of our group. And you can also come to Pine Grove Park and purchase candy and pop and ice cream from our concession stand. All that goes to the organization. Also, we have concession stands during the Blue Water Festival at the festivities, and we do appreciate your support.
Okay. How many clubs are in the Port Huron area, and when do they meet?
We are divided up into districts and zones, and in our particular zone we have 5 clubs. The Port Huron Host Club is only one club that you can become involved with. We also have the Fort Gratiot Club, the South Park Club, Ruby. There are many other clubs. So usually in a particular area you can get involved with some club that's local. And as Michelle was mentioning, the fact that we also are interested that folks become aware of the White Cane Law and obey it, that's a great contribution for Lions as well.
What is the most rewarding experience of being a Lion?
Well, it's many facets that enter into this. Doing something good for some person that is really in need and needs help and financially cannot do it. The Lions Club will probably buy glasses for some poor little boy that can't read, or he needs a hearing aid, he can't hear. And we not only take care of the youngsters, but we also help elderly and older people. And when they come and thank you for what you have done for them with tears in their eyes, it makes you think that how little I have done and how much I could do. So it gives you a shot in the arm to get up and do more and help more people, because life needs a lot of help from a lot of people, and the Lions Clubs are willing to help and do what they can in their limited resources. But with all the Lions Clubs all over the world, we do a vast amount of good for everybody. I think it's a great organization to belong to. I'm proud I've been a Lions for 47 years, and I'm still going to keep going to make it 50. Thank you.
I'd like to say, as a new member, I was really moved when I went out on White Cane Day and stood in front of a local drugstore and had several people come up to me and contribute and say, this is one of the only service organizations that has ever directly helped me. When I was a child, I needed glasses and we had no money, and I was given glasses, and they never forget that. And to me, that really made me feel good, because you can see directly from those who have helped you. It's not a long list or a long line of the money goes for a lot of different things, it goes directly to the people who need help. And that was inspiring to me.
For me, John, that question has many answers, but I think perhaps one of the most thrilling moments for me was to bring a new person into the library who was blind, who had been receiving mail and print all their life, and to sit down independently with a computer and place their mail on it, and to hear a personal letter read aloud to them. The laughter and the joy on that person's expression, I think, was something that paid me more times over than I can imagine. And I think, too, it's also nice to have developed the camaraderie and the friendship that Lions provides as a club. We actually become brothers and sisters, and that's a very rewarding experience, too.
Now, how can our viewers contact you for more information about the Lions Club?
Well, for more information on the Lions Club, you can contact us at the following phone numbers: 987-4989 and speak to Leroy, or 982-0717 and you would speak to Mike Gino. And we do have an address you can write us at. It's the Port Huron Host Lions Club, 4630 Griswold, Port Huron, Michigan, 48060. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you here on Spotlight on Port Huron. If any viewers have ideas for Spotlight on Port Huron, please call Channel 6 at 984-6621.